Make It Yourselfers. Today I'm going to show you how to make this super cute Kelly clutch. I've shared some other leather projects with you in the past, and this was just one that I thought was so cute. Not only do I love the color, but I love that you can use it with or without a strap. While it is a small purse, there is plenty of room for lots of different cards. They're sewn in card slots. There's also a zippered coin purse area. What's best about this project though is that it comes in a kit and it's perfect for beginners, and it's just so cute. When I opened the box, I could see all the different things in my order. I also had a few freebies like this little horse. There was also a keychain. This is part of the belt kit. You can see that I have a wallet kit. That's the other freebie. Underneath the wallet, I have the stuff for the Kelly clutch. Now I'm going to open up the leather pieces of the Kelly clutch. And you can see here I have a strap, some needles, a clip, a screwdriver, all the stuff you need to put the kit together. I'm now scanning to find the instructional video on YouTube. It's pretty easy to follow, so you can go ahead and scan that. When you begin, they will show you exactly how much thread you will need for each section. You're going to be starting on the card slot area, and you're going to want to put a needle on either side. That is for the saddle stitch. The first time I get a little bit confused with that. So yeah, make sure that for one thread you have 2 needles, one on either side. And you can see that I am now stitching across with a saddle stitch, and that's pretty much the same stitch you'll use throughout the entire kit, and they will show you that in the video. Because they do have an instructional video, I don't want to spend a lot of time explaining every single step, but I do want to show you some things I did a little bit different, or if I got a little bit confused. You can see that I decided to burn off the ends of the threads in my kit. They show you to do it with a glue, but in previous kits they had shown how to burn it off, and I just got used to doing it that way, so I did it like that. You do want to be careful with this kit if you are doing that, because especially with the color I chose, you can see if you were to burn the leather itself. And this kit, while it is a genuine leather, it does have a polyurethane coating on the interior of the purse. And they will show you in the video how you can distinguish both sides so you know to put the right side on the interior, and you want to keep the genuine leather on the exterior. There are several reasons that they chose to use the polyurethane coating on the interior of this clutch. One reason is for durability, so you don't have to worry so much when you're throwing your keys in your purse. It also lightens up the purse somewhat, because otherwise they would need to use 2 layers of leather, one on the interior and one on the exterior, and they would have to do a lot of waste to really cut it down and really thin down the interior section. So they use the polyurethane coating on the interior to lighten up the load, to make the purse more durable, and just to make it less prone to wear on the interior. You can see that I continued to form these pockets, the card slots for the interior of the purse. The only part I found mildly confusing was at the top of the top slot. You just want to stitch starting above the pocket and catching the top of that leather strip into the next stitch. And once I figured it out for one side, of course, it was a lot easier on the other side. And you can see again, I am using my lighter to burn off the ends. Now, once I've finished on the one side, I'm going to do the same thing for the card slots on the other side. This clutch does have 2 sets of card slots, so there's plenty of room for your driver's license, any sort of ID, credit cards, or anything that you might have that you want to put into your clutch. These kits generally come with clips to help you. It'll hold things in place while you're sewing. I get a bit confused because I was working on several kits at once, and I grabbed the more lightweight clip that was from the wallet kit, and I used it for the clutch, and of course I broke it because there were a lot more layers of leather. But again, they come in very handy. Here you're going to see that first stitch that I got a little bit confused with the first time, but all you have to do is really just get the top of the slot into that first stitch, and you can see that right here. It's really not confusing. Now I'm working on the zipper compartment. This is for coins and things. It's on the center of the clutch. You can see that the zipper was already sewn on, so that part you don't have to add. But now I'm just going to close together that section so that you can stick your coins inside it. Once you sew the bottom closed, you're going to add these little pieces to either side. This is also going to be on the exterior of the purse. This is what is going to hold the whole clutch together. Again, they show you exactly how much thread you will need, and again, you will be using the saddle stitch. Before I sew those two pieces on, I want to tidy everything up. So I cut off the extra thread and of course burn off any excess. And you want to make sure that the piece that is the exterior genuine leather is going to be the piece that's going to be on the outside, and that on the interior you will have that polyurethane coating. Here you can see that not everything always goes perfectly. It's very easy to get distracted, especially when you're just starting out one of the sections. And I pierced the thread with a needle. And usually you can fix that by just backing up and trying to pull the needle back out. If you've just started, you could just cut and start over and thread a new section of thread through, but I have been able to fix them all quite easily. But yeah, keep your eye on things. Try to make sure not to pierce the thread when you're going through. It's really the best way to do that is to just pull the thread against the leather and then push your needle through the opposite side. And that way you ensure that you're not piercing the thread when you go through. Before you get too far along on your stitching, just make sure again that you have the right side, the genuine leather on the exterior, and then you can just continue sewing up that side. And you will be doing the exact same thing on the opposite side and sewing it in the same exact way. Here you can see the part where I broke the run clip. I was trying to clamp it on there and it snapped. But they have a much better metal clip that you can use if you want to keep things in place and make it easier while you sew. I'm just finishing up this section and then I will show you the next part. Again, as with every other part of the purse, you are going to want to cut off the extra thread and burn the ends off or glue them down. Here you can see I'm flipping out this piece, which will become the sides of the clutch. With the interior and side parts finished, I can now work on the main part of the clutch. First, we'll be sewing on the straps to the main part of the clutch. These are going to be the straps that will hold the clutch together when it is buckled shut. The straps are just going to be fastened in one area at the end. We are not sewing them into the line of holes that goes along the edge of the entire purse. Right now it is just fastening it in place and also finishing up with the decorative stitching that goes all the way around the strap. You can lift the strap up better to be able to stitch there, and just again make sure you do not stitch it into the line of holes along the edge of the purse. We want to just sew on the strap itself here. Once you've finished with one of the straps, you're going to take the other strap and do the exact same thing. As always, cut off the extra thread and finish it off however you choose. Here's what the main part of the purse looks like right now. And now we're going to be adding in the hardware. This is where the straps are going to be buckled in place. There's not much to say in this area, just use the saddle stitch as always to go all the way around and fasten it in place. And this is what it will look like when you have finished. Now we'll begin to assemble the purse by stitching all around the edges of the main part, and we'll be adding the center section into it as we go. The center section has the zipper section, and most people are going to want it to open from left to right. So just check that and make sure that you put it in the right way. And the video will show you where you need to stitch that, on what stitch you have to begin, and you just keep following with the saddle stitch. After a couple of stitches with that center section, you're also going to be adding in your card slots. You will be placing one of these on either side. So you are also going to sew it in. Here we're going to have lots of different layers. So you're going to want to go through that middle section first, then the card slots, and then through to the main part of the purse. At first, this is a little bit tricky, but once you have a few stitches in place, it should stay put, and you should have a much easier time of going all the way around. Again, you're going to want to place the other card slots on the other side. So once you've gotten around the bottom part, you're going to slide that into place, and you are going to sew that in just like you did on the other side. Once you get to this area, it's getting very exciting because you can start to see the shape of the clutch forming, and you're just getting really excited to finish with your project and see your final purse and be able to try it out. One thing that I didn't mention before is when you get to the end of an area, you're always going to want to back stitch a few times. That will help reinforce your stitches before you cut off the excess thread and finish it. You can see I left the threads a bit longer on that side because now we are going to be working on the other side, but not only on the other side, we're going to go all the way around the purse. So when we get all the way around and we get to the end again, we have more thread that we can knot everything off and just reinforce it before we cut off and finish off any loose ends. You can see now it's getting a little bit trickier because you don't have as much movement in the leather, but you know, you're excited at this point of the project, so it does come together pretty easily, and it's a lot of fun. When we begin this section, we really reinforce the top part by repeating the same stitch several times around the edge, and then the rest of the way down, I'm just going to continue as usual and going all the way around. And we will be going through both sets of card slots, and we will be adding in that center section. By this point, you can see that the purse is almost finished. It already has its shape. The only thing that we really have to do is to sew along the top of the sides. I already sewed all the way around the purse, and I fastened both ends together, and now I'm just burning the edges off. Here I'm measuring out the thread for the top of the sides. Here I'll be starting on the back part and just sewing along the top of either side section. And we will also be going through that center section here. You want to push your needle through that thick center section to get it in there, but you don't want your needle to pierce the leather behind it. Here you can see how I'm maneuvering the purse to avoid that, and then pushing it through. And this is the other tricky part. I probably could have done it with the glue on the inside, but I was able to burn off the loose ends without burning the leather. Now I'm going to be adding the hardware. This is reinforcing the holes, and it just makes it look really cute. These are the straps that get pushed over that post in the center and will hold the purse together. And I just think this design is so cute, and it's just very practical. And as I showed you at the beginning, the kit comes with everything you need here. It comes with the hardware, it comes with the screwdriver. Once you get that hardware screwed on, you are completely finished and you can close up your purse. I'm now going to show you how you can make the optional insert for adding a strap to your clutch. This part comes with the strap and then 2 rectangles of leather. At first, you're going to be sewing across the top of the smaller piece of leather, and that is just decorative stitching. This is going to be a pocket that you can use for adding more cards or whatever it is that you want to add to your purse. Once you've sewn across the top of that smaller rectangle, we're going to be sewing it onto the larger rectangle by sewing all the way around. Again, for this part, you will be using the saddle stitch just as you've used throughout the entire kit. Once you've finished sewing it up, cut off the excess ends of threads, and again, I burned mine off. And then you just have to clip on the straps. And with that, you have finished the optional accessory for adding a strap to your purse. Here you can see I'm using it just as a clutch, and I'm going to have my son hand me the optional strap. And you can see, you can just place that into your purse, you close up the clutch again, and now you have your strap. So you can choose each day whether you want to use your purse as a purse or just as a clutch without a strap. I think it's really convenient, it's super cute, and it's just a really fun project. So if you're interested, go check it out on Babylon Leather. Like this project and video, please give it a like, and I'd love for you to subscribe for more videos like this one. Until next time.